for this question.
Good segue.
Yeah, great segue. Which is, where should Melee be headed in 2021 in your opinion? And so I think for this, like, I think we're really just building up storyline still for 2021. Like as Mango said in the doc or on his stream somewhere, like kind of after like 2015, 2016, from like 2018 to 2020, people have just been kind of like getting up to speed with things, right? Like kind of just getting up to speed. The Five God era is kind of over. There are new kids on the come up like Zayn and Cody, and they're not there yet. And now they're starting to get there. Zayn's already there, obviously. And there's a changing of the guards, and I think that storyline will continue in 2021, especially with the advent of Slippy. And you'll see players like Jmook and Aklo rise up. I'm sure there's going to be some from the West Coast as well. We got Solo Battle from Europe as well, and Pipsqueak. And I think it's about this changing of the guards, and that's really where I see Melee heading. And you'll also have legitimate online warriors, which is something that traditional FGC people have that we don't have. And I think that's going to be really interesting going to 2021, especially as we saw with the Slippy League. And this is the hot take I wanted to get to, which is that it will affect both fan bases, region like where the region sides with, and also will bring back East Coast and West Coast, and then it will also affect summit voting. Like that's the thing. Like it won't surprise me that one day people will side over Jmook because they've only seen him play online versus a very established player like Lucky in Summit voting, who is there IRL and you've known him through his history, and you have these online fan favorites. And I think that is a new thing that we haven't had yet that I'm very excited for.
Absolutely, dude. There's so much to go off with what you said, and kind of how that fills into what I think about all the time. And yeah, getting these new players, really getting them clouded up, really, because that's at this point it's just the way it is with any entertainment industry. It's just about the attention that you have rather than the pure skill, right? So we've seen so many barriers come down. People are understanding like what routers they need, what quality internet, and with the region locks, now they're going to be less afraid to put themselves out there because they'll say, okay, I'm more likely to stick around in the tournament if I don't have to play someone from Arizona when I'm in Maine, right? So I think Hacks had it very much right when he talks about region locking being more important than what people think it is right now. So I see a cultural shift as Hacks kind of swipes the microphone away from other voices who are maybe dissenting and saying like, no, this is how it needs to be, and here's the proof, right? So with that, we saw Jmook being, the first person to come out of that, immediately benefiting from that decision. And he's clearly not going to be the last one. You mentioned Solo Battle, I think, is another really great example. And what I see happening in 2021 is content distribution being understood a lot better by everyone. One of the main trends I've been seeing on Twitter recently was the people on people with these YouTube channels being like, hey, help me hit 25,000 before the end of the year. And it was a bunch of top players really pushing their YouTube channels. And you see it in the algorithms too. I'm seeing a lot more Wizrobe. I'm seeing a lot more IBDW. I'm seeing more videos from these top players who decided to double down on their stream and hire an editor and to actually pump out their content. And I think as that model becomes more adopted by people who realize like that is the metagame right now, like that's the move, I think that that's going to trickle down. Sponsorships are going to get on board, and it's going to not even be the player's decision. It's just going to be like, hey, we got you an editor. Just keep streaming. We'll make your videos. You know what I mean? And that is going to be the kind of undercurrent pushing Melee even further and further forward and into the mainstream. I think content is the absolute end game for Melee in 2021, and that comes from the storylines that you're talking about. Toph going full time into streaming, and
I love Toph's channel.
Toph's the best.
I absolutely love it. I love this channel.
Toph is low key goated, dude. Like maybe not even low key. He's goated.
It's about damn time. It's about damn time.
Right, and having that be like, you know, he does this. He's not pure melee, but he does a lot of melee talks. He does a lot of, you know, having players on, stuff like that. So I see 2021 people are finally getting around to like, yeah, let's just keep pushing content out and doing what we love, and the players will keep playing and the tournaments will keep happening. And we'll just get first of the series, get over 500 players. You know, it's just going to keep going up.
I agree. And it wouldn't be a Wannabes podcast, and you wouldn't be JD if you didn't bring up content. So I'm happy that you brought up that point, because I did not see it that way at all. But now that you mention it, I hard agree with it. And I think also to add on to that, and you said it in the beginning, but there's the breadth of content that we're going to see out of 2021 is going to be insane. Like, you know, I love Cody. Cody's a homie. But I really have been impressed with his channel and been really engrossed with these like honest talks with players and about mentality, and because it's so authentic to him. Yeah. And he's so authentic to himself, and the editor, whoever's doing that in Panic Global, knows that, and they're capturing that. And I think, and it's not these like, oh, these are the highlights or this is the thing, and people are finding their own voice in the content, whereas you said like Toph is really great of it too. Like, I think he's finding his voice with his community. Mike Hayes too also is making a lot of content in a very different way than IBDW is, right? Like IBDW, it's like him on Discord with a guy, and then someone's just clipping it. Mike Hayes is like maybe a little bit more scripted, maybe a little bit more storyline based, and that's great. Like I love that he's starting out with the box too. Toph's kind of just doing his thing. Like just like get Aklo a fucking editor. Yeah. Like, just like have him be the most BM taunting hype beast out there, you know? And like, you know, and like that's Aklo, you know? Aklo is this try-hard fox trying to be on the come up. Someone document that, for God's sake. He's streaming 24/7. Right. Like, to be able to stream your tournament runs and then do well on your tournament runs is something in itself. And so, like, I'm yelling at this point, but like, I am very excited about the breadth of content that we'll see. And I think like having tried to do content before, like, and like, it's so apparent that
you're literally doing it right now, by the way.
You love meta commentary, but yes, yes. Yeah,
it's true.
But like, I couldn't do the stuff that like Akalo or Cody are doing. You know, I love more like recording and then kind of figuring out how I want to structure it and stuff like that. But like, everyone similar to their playstyles has their own form of content that they're kind of lean closer to, and I think that is what we're gonna see, is people explore and find the voice rather than being like, oh, people people like Mango Axe Wednesdays, I'll just do that too, you know? Like, you won't see any more cookie cutter content pieces, and you'll see content pieces of authenticity. And so yeah, that's my rant.